When the stock is removed, it will look like this. The wires will be here. Do not tug too hard on this. You don't want to damage the male connector in here. The male connector is designed to stay in and not fall out. So again, don't tug. This is the other plate I was talking about. And that should be one of the last steps to removing the mech box. The last step mainly is to just give it a tug. Be careful with it though. You need to pull it a little forward as you tug. And now you have opened up the gun and removed the mech box. Now keep in mind this is a version 2 gearbox. So if you wanted to use say a Systema Revolution gearbox, you could just drop it in, and all you'd really have to worry about is placing this wire through the tube, which really isn't that hard. If you don't want to go DMR, which stands for Designated Marksman's Rifle, aka semi-auto only, because this does shoot at 450 FPS stock, and most airsoft park regulations say anything from 400 to 450 FPS has to be semi-auto, you could switch out the gearbox, the entire thing, for a completely new mech box, which would give you a 400 or under. However, you can use a lot of Systema upgrades and downgrade the spring from a M130 to an M120, which will give you about 400 FPS and a high rate of fire. I will try and post a link to all the parts that would do that. It's going to be maybe $100 or so to get all the parts. But if you want to go full auto legally in a airsoft park, you may want to go ahead and change some of the internals. But as for me, I like sniping, so I'm gonna stick with the stock parts for now. Now, the reason why I suddenly decided to take the gun apart was because there was something wrong with it. It wasn't firing when I pulled the trigger. Nothing happened, so I did a little troubleshooting. I thought maybe there was a loose wire or something, but if you ever have something like that where you pull the trigger and nothing happens at all, and you know you have a good battery, a good way to test if it's just the wire or not is simply do this. You plug a battery pack in. This is not the standard battery, but it'll do either way. You plug a battery in, and then you take the motor out. You get a voltage meter, something like this. Alright? Digital voltage meter. You want to set it to DC. You want to hit 20 resistance. And you simply plug this red probe into the red wire, the black probe into the black wire. And then to see if there's any power, you pull the trigger. And if there is power, you'll see the numbers up here go up to about the voltage of the battery. If it is a loose wire or something, the voltage will not go up. It'll just stay as steady. For me, the voltages went up, so I know it's not a loose wire, and I know it doesn't have anything to do with the mech box. For me, I think my motor either is faulty or is just having a hiccup. I still have to figure out what the problem is with that, but it shouldn't take too long to figure out. For anyone wondering the gauge of these wires, they look like they are 18, 20 gauge, around there. They're pretty thin, so yeah, don't mess them up. But I'm not actually going to take the mech box apart, seeing as that's not my problem in this case, and that since it doesn't need to be fixed, I'm not going to tinker with it, particularly because it has an M130 spring, and I don't want to deal with that right now because it could be a hassle to get back together. Maybe another day when I upgrade the gun, I will do a video on that, but that probably won't be for a while. So now that I know it has something to do, my problem has something to do with this motor. All I need to really do is replace it, probably with a Sistema motor, something along those lines, and then my problem should be solved. But yeah, that's basically how you take apart the A&K SPR NOD1. Despite the fact that I have a little problem with it, it's still an extremely exceptional gun, and I wouldn't hesitate if I were you to get one, that's for sure. So yeah, if you're looking forward to when I take apart the mech box, go ahead, subscribe if you want. If you don't, well, that's again your personal choice. Doesn't matter to me. But yeah, this is Andrew Esquivel, and that is how you take apart the A&K SPR NOD1.